Courts are starting to reject Donald Trump's use of the Alien Enemies Act as being unconstitutional and a statutory violation. 4 different judges, including running the gamut from Biden to Trump to other judges, have all said it in 4 different quadrants of the United States that it is not a proper assertion of the Alien Enemies Act because we are not at war or anything like it against Venezuela or with Tren de Aragua, that narcotic gang that nobody's ever heard of and nobody's ever seen. And that is the very foundation and basis of Donald Trump's proclamation to use the Alien Enemies Act, and they'd love to use it without due process if they could get away with it, but the Supreme Court won't let them. And now we've got new reporting about a new case that just came out of Pennsylvania from a Trumper. A Trump judge takes a different view of the Alien Enemies Act while still giving Donald Trump a little bit of a roast in her new opinion. And I cover it on Popok Live, my new podcast on Tuesday nights on the Midas Touch Network. And here's a clip. Alien Enemies Act is all in the news. You know, Donald Trump has one interesting knack. He'll tell you exactly what he's going to do at any given moment. And he'll do it. There's a simple evil genius to it. He told us he was going to use the Alien Enemies Act on the campaign trail, and we ran a lot of hot takes and analysis about it. He said he was considering suspending the Constitution and martial law and habeas corpus, and he's now come out saying exactly that. He's got that befuddled thing with Kristen Welker, due process, Fifth Amendment. Do I have to give due process to these people? I have some very fine lawyers. I don't know. He's got like an allergy with the Constitution. That's a problem for the person who's supposed to occupy the chair to defend and preserve and protect the Constitution. And the fact that he doesn't know that there's due process requirements, which is the bedrock of our criminal justice system, should give everybody a little bit of a pause that we're slipping into tyranny in this country. And then just when I thought that was the breaking news from last week, Stephen Miller holds a press conference on the gravel dirt road somewhere at the White House. And he just blithely says out loud, yeah, we're strongly considering suspending the writ of habeas corpus. I mean, I thought my eyes were going to pop out of my head, you know, like that Jim Carrey movie. Like, ooh, God. Like, did you just say that out loud? Yes. It's not the first time they considered it. They were going to suspend the Constitution and seize voting machines. And they had an executive order all ready to go in the first administration. We learned that from the Jan 6 committee and from Jack Smith's work. And so, no, you're not going to suspend the writ of habeas corpus under a false claim of a war with Venezuela, so you don't have to use due process. But so that happened. It's not even a slippery slope between that and declaring martial law and suspending the Constitution. It's not, because a slope implies that you have to travel a distance. We've crossed the Rubicon. That's it, man. We're there. Now, that's why we got to use the court systems for emergency applications and emergency filings. And trust me, and we have many of them on the Midas Touch Network and on Legal AF, we are ready. We are ready to file those lawsuits to stop Donald Trump trying to assert martial law and suspend the Constitution and take away habeas corpus rights, which is the only thing that stands between not just them, the foreigner, the undocumented, you and me, and the dark, damp recesses of a prison or detention center, and never seeing the light of day or a federal judge. The only thing that stands between you and that scenario is the writ of habeas corpus. And so when he says that, which I'm sure was done to distract from something else going on at the moment, we have to take it seriously. Every judge until today that looked at the Alien Enemies Act and Donald Trump's phony proclamation of war, not declaration of war, that has to come from Congress. I'm still waiting. It's been almost 60 days. I still don't have a declaration that we're at war with Venezuela, which would also be news to Venezuela. And so much has come out that we know that has proven the lie, that put a lie to Donald Trump in his argument, like his own internal memo with the intelligence community that we've now seen that says that Venezuelan's government and the Maduro regime has not been taken over by Tren de Aragua, nor has Tren de Aragua, the narco gang, drug gang, does not operate the Maduro regime. They're afraid of the narco gang. They're afraid of getting toppled by the narco gang, and they're in business a little bit with the narco gang, but they're not using them as enemy combatants to take down the United States of America. And if without that, then you don't have the Alien Enemies Act ability to trigger its use to deport people summarily without due process. Even then, the Supreme Court has said, even if you use the Alien Enemies Act, you got to give notice and due process. And you got to do it by writ of habeas corpus. That's the Supreme Court. So you see the rock and a hard place the Trump administration is in. They say all this crazy shit in the driveway of the White House, but in court filings, they would never say this, and they haven't said it. So we got our first judge who's decided that, and this is Judge Haynes, a Trump appointee, very interesting background. She was a captain in the Army. She was in the Judge Advocate General's office, JAG Corps, the Army version of the JAG Corps. And so I guess she's, rock solid military. But she is the only person that has decided that having random, decentralized gangs that used to live in Venezuela that have come to America is the equivalent of a predatory incursion to allow Donald Trump to repel them as military combatants. She's found a war, effectively. And what it means is we've got Texas, a Trump judge, Rodriguez, who ruled against Donald Trump and found the Alien Enemies Act not properly, not constitutionally or statutorily exercised. Judge Hellerstein in New York, the same. Judge Sweeney in Colorado, the same. And judges in Maryland as well. And now you got this one outlier. So now they got to go up to their respective appellate courts. It's got to go to the 5th for Rodriguez. It's got to go to the 4th for Maryland. It's got to go to the 6th for Colorado. And it's got to go to the 2nd for New York. And then those courts, and now Pennsylvania is in the 3rd. So we're going to have the 2nd, the 3rd, the 6th. Follow along at home. the 2nd, the 3rd, the 6th, the 4th, and 2nd. I think that's it. Colorado, Maryland. Yeah, that's it. And if any of those appellate courts take a different position or they split in some way, it will then fast track and combine to the United States Supreme Court. Could be as early as this summer because Donald Trump keeps pressing what I call this losing hand. That's where we are with Alien Enemies Act. Welcome back. That was Popok Live. I always wanted my own show without other anchors where I could just speak about the things that matter to me. And I curate that. All kidding aside, I love Karen. I love Ben. Pardon me, but that's my opportunity right there to just talk directly to the audience about things that matter to me that I curate for you. It's like a briefing, Popok style. It's like Jimmy Kimmel Live, but without the Jimmy Kimmel. It's every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, only on the Midas Touch Network. And then I bring over the clips here. So we have one-stop shopping for all things at the intersection of law and politics here on Legal AF. So until my next report, I'm Michael Popok. I'm Michael Popok, and I got some big news for our audience. Most of you know me as the co-founder of Midas Touch's Legal AF and the Legal AF YouTube channel, or as a 35-year national trial lawyer. Now, building on what we started together on Legal AF, I've launched a new law firm, the Popok Firm, dedicated to obtaining justice through compassionate and zealous legal representation. At the Popok Firm, we are focused on obtaining justice for those who have been injured or damaged by a life-altering event by securing the highest dollar recoveries. I've been tirelessly fighting for justice for the last 35 years, so my own law firm organically building on my Legal AF work just feels right. And I've handpicked a team of top-tier trial fighters and settlement experts throughout all 50 states known as big auto injury attorneys who have the know-how to beat heartless insurance companies, corporations, government entities, and their attorneys. Big Auto's attorneys working with my firm are rock stars in their respective states and collectively responsible for billions of dollars in recoveries. So if you or a loved one have been on the wrong side of a catastrophic auto, motor vehicle, rideshare, or truck accident, suffered a personal injury, or been the victim of medical malpractice, employment harassment or discrimination, or suffered a violation of your civil and constitutional rights, then contact the Popok Firm today at 1-877-POPOK-AF or by visiting my website at www.thepopokfirm.com and fill out a free case evaluation form. And if we determine that you have a case and you sign with us, we don't get paid unless you do. The Popok Firm, fighting for your justice every step of the way.